Hello and welcome, everyone. This is Shane, the Expat Odyssey, and I'm actually coming to you from the USA right now. I'm in Frisco, Texas. Just came home, and I've just been taking care of some things, been working, and if you're on disability, you got to dot your I's and cross your T's with all that stuff. So I just want to say, mabuhay, welcome, my Philippines flag, and we're just going to talk about the Philippines. We're going to talk about Malaysia, talk about Thailand just a little bit. So I actually had a phenomenal time in this part of the world, in Southeast Asia. Definitely experiences that were very contrasting with cultures that are fairly close in proximity, but nuanced with nuanced with contrast. You know, so I was in the Philippines for a few months over there. I was there for a little more than 3 months. Malaysia, I was there for more than 3 months, and I actually uh, got to spend Eid al-Fitr in Malaysia, and I spent that in Malaysia and in Thailand. So I got to spend the whole month of Ramadan in Malaysia, which was an incredible experience. All around, it was an incredible experience. But thinking about my first time in the Philippines, it just a phenomenal experience. It takes time to adjust to the Philippines. It's not something where you know the adaptation just comes seamlessly. It doesn't. The Philippines can be a challenging place to adapt, not only just in terms of food for a lot of people that are from the West who are not necessarily accustomed to Filipino food, but Filipino food is not all bad. I love my Jollibee. Jollibee is delicious. Adobo chicken, typical stuff we foreigners, Westerners like. But just a phenomenal experience. And I actually made sure that when I was in the Philippines, I got myself a Philippines flag because I really fell in love with the country, and I'm collecting flags for the different countries that I've visited. But the Philippines really stood out to me in a really profound way. Uh, Before I had been to the Philippines, man, I had some down moments. I really did. But being able to get up and go to the Philippines, go to Southeast Asia, and live life over there really was a game changer. I really learned how to enjoy life again, and that was something that was just so invaluable. Just the most mundane things that you would think are nothing, but just little by little, cumulatively, it makes a big difference. I mean, I'll give you an example. Just being on the back of a Move It, basically, it's like a moped taxi. It's not necessarily the safest, but I mean, if you want to feel alive, man, try taking a Move It through through Cebu City, crossing the Cecil X Bridge. You know, really awesome. If you know what I'm talking about, look it up. The Cecil X Bridge. It's really beautiful. Uh, but just going through the city, experiencing new things, being in places that are really different from what I'm accustomed to. Like, yeah, the Philippines is a poor country, but let me tell you something. You can have some great times in the Philippines, at the beach, just at the beaches, in the cities, going to the public market. There's a place called the Carbon Public Market. It's not really safe, but I mean, so long as you get over there and you know how to handle yourself, you exercise your own due diligence in terms of your own safety, and just keeping your wallet in your front pockets, keeping your eyes around. You got to keep your head on a kind of like on a swivel. Situational awareness is key. But the thing that has just made up my mind about the Philippines in terms of how I perceive the country is the people. It really is the people. When I'm talking about the people, I'm talking about some of the warmest, some of the friendliest, the most welcoming, kind people I have ever met in my life. I mean, Filipinos are really, y'all really have made a mark on me in terms of my experiences there, in terms of being exposed to the culture, the temperament of people. And it's not to say that everything's perfect, it's not. But when you're talking about the sheer quality, the sheer heart of the Filipino people with the kind of sense of community that they have, it's just hard to beat. It's really hard to beat. Like, when I think about going to the Philippines, I won't get too deep into, the personal stuff, but what I will say is that you will feel alive like you have never felt alive. Like you've never felt like you're alive before, and, it was a wonderful thing, but I needed a break from the Philippines because okay. Sorry about that. It looks like I had a problem with my microphone, but it looks like it's been resolved. Fortunately, I'm happy that I was able to fix that, but yeah, sorry for the brief break there. But, so what I was saying is that when it came to the Philippines, uh, I really enjoyed the country. I liked the country, but because I was still adjusting to life in Southeast Asia, I really needed a break. And so I basically had booked my ticket and I went to Malaysia. And so I basically most of my time was in Kuala Lumpur. What I can say about Kuala Lumpur is it's a major metropolitan city. I mean, when I tell you it's one of the major cities of the world, it's massive. It is massive and really developed really well. You've got some really great places over there in Kuala Lumpur. And so I was over there. I got to spend the holy month of Ramadan there. I got to pray at just the big mosques that are over there. I always got to pray at a new mosque, and so many of them are just really beautiful. And just riding the subways and moving around, just a really great experience. And the food is really good. Malaysian food is really one of a kind. And like what I was saying before, is that the food in Southeast Asia, each country, they have their own take on stuff. It's not always the same. A lot of them have rice, but that doesn't really mean much. But but when it came to Malaysia, I while I was in Kuala Lumpur, I got to do some volunteer work. I got to do things that were really kind of cool and interesting. But it wasn't like the Philippines. It just was not like the Philippines. Um, going to Kota Baru, where I was there and I was invited by this Muslim woman that I was talking to, and got to spend Eid al-Fitr with her and her family in Malaysia, the first part, and the second part I got to go to Thailand, and that was absolutely phenomenal. That was probably I wish that I had more time in Thailand. Like, Malaysia was good. It was good, right? It was good. But, Thailand, to me, the draw of Thailand was just immense. Like, being able to go to Thailand, eat Thai food, walk the streets, chill, go to the mosque, uh, but just really experience the vast difference in culture. So I was in Kota Baru, which is basically a border town. It's a border city. It's not as developed as Kuala Lumpur, not by a long shot. Kota Baru is you got nice people there, but it's the development is just not there. It's not really developed. Basically, it looks like you're probably stuck in somewhere in the 90s, if I were to say. But the experiences that I had with this woman's family and everything. It was just really nice, like, since I've been in Southeast Asia, talking to people about marriage and everything like that. And, it's just really, really great, just really great, beneficial, getting to meet all sorts of people and experiences. Uh, but, I ended up wanting to go back to the Philippines. I did. I wanted to go back to the Philippines. Uh, And one of the reasons that I wanted to go back to the Philippines is that you would think that in Malaysia that it would somehow feel like a better fit just because the people are Muslim and I'm Muslim and I identify religiously uh, as a Muslim and I identify with the culture. Uh, but for me, the reality was that Malaysians can be really, really reserved, and that was That's not to say I didn't talk to people and that I didn't make friends. I did. I made good connections. But that is to say that when I was and I know people don't like comparisons, but I'm gonna make a comparison because this is how I came to uh, my feelings about Malaysia and the Philippines, is that if you want to get close to people in Malaysia, if you want to be able to, uh, be more with people there, you're gonna struggle because it really takes a lot of time for Malaysians to open up to people. They can really be, and especially if you've only been there like a few months. So, like what I mean by that is I've had the opportunity to go and participate in different community events. And I've had a great time, and I'm sure I'll post something sometime about my time in Malaysia. But I've been so busy with work. I've been so busy with just dealing with bureaucracy with the Social Security Administration, and I'm actually getting ready to leave the country again because, like I said before, I don't want to live in the United States, and I'm only here temporarily. But, getting back to my time in Malaysia is that if it wasn't for the opportunity to spend time with this really just phenomenal Muslim lady, um, in Malaysia, I don't necessarily that I wanna name a name because it doesn't really make much of a difference, but this person made a massive difference for me in the time that I was celebrating the holidays, celebrating Eid al-Fitr. I gotta say, Ramadan was a really lonely month in Malaysia because I really didn't know that many people. But really, like, when it comes to the holidays, like Ramadan, um, the way it is in Malaysia is that if you're not, like, in tight with people in Malaysia, you pretty much know when you're in their circle or not in their circle. And, they 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 can make that clear by omission, but it's just that, they don't make time for you. So, I wanted to go back to the Philippines. And why would I want to go back to the Philippines? Because what I realized for me on a personal level is that as much as I enjoyed being in a Muslim country like Malaysia and Egypt, because I've lived in Egypt before as well in 2017, I got to spend quite a bit of time in Egypt. And I got to say, my opinion about Egypt compared to Malaysia is that Egypt is a lot more. Malaysia is welcoming, Egypt is welcoming, but what I have to say is that Malaysia is a more insular society. Definitely more insular, and I think that's a key point. It's insular and just sort of reserved, and that's fine. I mean, there's many cultures in this world that are like that, and that's fine. And I'm a guest in these cultures, so you accept things for as they are. But when I ended up going back to the Philippines, and I gotta say, it was like coming home. Philippines became my home away from home. Just being able to go back in Cebu City, and if you've never been to Cebu City, if you've never been to the Philippines, I advise you to go. Go. You're gonna love it. You're gonna enjoy it. It's not just for the scenery. It's not just for the fun stuff that there is to do. I mean, I've done so much in Cebu. I mean, just going to the beaches, boat rides, motorcycle rides, ice skating. Yep, ice skating. Yeah, I ice skated in the Philippines. Had this other lady in the Philippines. I took ice skating and taught her how to ice skate. That was phenomenal. That was a lot of fun because whenever she would fall, I would fall picking her up. But just a phenomenal experience to go back to the Philippines after being in Malaysia for so many months. Uh, I realized that the things that I was struggling to adapt to in the Philippines were no longer issues for me. At that time, I had completely adapted to life in the Philippines, and it takes effort, but it's like just like it is when you're building muscle mass and you're working out. Your body gets used to things. You got to get used to things. You got to get into the rhythm. You got to get into the way things are done. But yeah, the Philippines can be a challenge. Like, if you are a first-time traveler and you haven't really been around anywhere else, I would definitely advise, traveling a little bit before you go to the Philippines just to kind of give yourself an idea, like, this is what it's like to live abroad because, yeah, Philippines can be as much as, like, the food is challenging for me, the people by far make it an absolutely amazing experience, and I mean that in every conceivable way. Just the people, and I gotta say, if Filipino ladies are very lovely, very, very lovely, very kind, very accommodating. They know how to take care of their men. That's what I'll say. They know how to take care of their men, and so if you're looking to make a change, I would definitely say check out the Philippines, but here's the deal, is that, uh, I ended up having to come back to the States because I have paperwork to fill out, and I mean, it's, just stacks of this stuff, just complete stacks, tons of stuff. So, having to take care of paperwork, having to, uh, just make sure that, swap out my work computer because my other work computer was not working so well, so having to get that swapped out, it's good. But what I realized is that, uh, I need to be a little bit closer to home because of work, because of the fact that I do have to deal with this kind of bureaucratic stuff. But the other thing is that, my mother is, she's getting older. My parents are getting older. And since I have been here, you do realize that a 22 to 24-hour flight to the other side of the world, as much as it can be rewarding, it can make things really complicated for whenever you need to take care of things and you can't because you're literally on the other side of the world. So this sort of situation, uh, you know, it necessitates going to a country that's closer to home. And as much as I've committed myself to being an expat and living outside the United States because I feel a hell of a lot better being abroad, being somebody that's legally blind, that deals with a disability, that deals with the everything that goes along in that. Because in the United States, I've talked about it before. You're stigmatized if you have a disability, and having this kind of a disability, it can affect you in all areas of life, professionally, socially, and in the United States, this is just a very judgmental society. It's, and even recently, since I came back, Trump and Elon Musk, they gutted so many programs. They gutted the funding for programs that, like, Texas Disability Rights. It's an organization that ensures that Texans who are disabled have their rights protected through pro bono legal assistance. They had to shut down. They had to shut down for a time, and they had to lay off all of these people. So it's not that I already felt like I didn't wanna live here. It's the fact that what's the point of staying? What's the point of staying when you don't even have legal protections? And I don't have to tell you that there have been times in my life that I had to take legal action against, companies without getting into the details because, non-disclosure agreements. Uh, but it just created a situation where I knew I need to live abroad. It's just that I've had it. I've been fed up with with being here in the US. So what's the next chapter? That is to be announced at a later time. But I can say I will be in the Caribbean. I will be in the Caribbean and have easy access to the US. And I gotta say, I'm really really working on my Spanish like crazy. I've been studying Spanish on and off. But, and I only did that just because I enjoyed learning languages. Like, I've studied Arabic, I've studied German, Spanish, Farsi, but, But yeah, I'm just focusing on my Spanish. So if I'm not making videos, if I'm not being active on YouTube, that's pretty much what it is. Taking care of work, getting stuff settled, getting this bureaucracy handled, getting that all squared away, but also making preparations, working on Spanish. I'm working to go over to the Caribbean, and my best friend is actually going to be joining me here on this channel. We're going to be doing some interviews. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. So that's what's up right now. Maybe I'll post some stuff to the channel later from my time in Malaysia, but I'm just I'm occupied right now, so I don't really have a lot of time for that. But if you stuck around to the end of the video, I want to say thank you. I really do appreciate my subscribers. I realize I haven't made anything. I haven't been out here in months, but such is life. You know, you gotta take care of stuff in life and not always be in front of a camera. But just want to say thank you all very much, and take care, man. Take it easy.